Good afternoon. Um, First, I would like to thank Lady Pauline and the panel for inviting me. And Quentin and Jamil, very powerful stories and information. Um, Again, my name is Mike. I First I want to start by saying I no longer look like it, I no longer act like it, and I no longer think like it. Um, I'm a transplant from Boston, Massachusetts. Came to New York many years ago and really got caught up, let's just say. um, I want to say this. I hear you guys, and I kind of, both of you, your stories kind of uh, resonate with me because I do have some military issue things, and I do have some, uh, I don't know what to call it, but issues with being kind of disciplined. I'm just going to say disciplined. So yes, I come from a military family from Boston, Massachusetts. Um, um, all through school and um, my life, it was strictly discipline within my household. My dad was in the army, not, um, and I grew up very strict, very um, disciplined household. Um, And I also grew up in an area where there weren't my people there as well. Not a lot of my people there. So, again, part of you guys' story, right? But at an early age, I realized that, well, not an early age, so probably when I was in middle school, I guess, I realized that I needed to get away from this disciplined lifestyle I was living. I have two brothers and two sisters. I was the baby, but again, that matters sometimes. Um, in high school, I started cutting up in high school and got involved with the wrong crowds because I wanted to be like them because where I was at wasn't like them. Um, so I got in trouble, a lot of trouble. Um, Eventually, getting kicked out of school in middle school, got kicked out of middle school. I don't know how New York is, but middle school in Boston was from sixth grade to eighth grade. So same, okay, okay, yeah. So I got kicked out, expelled actually from school, um, fighting, cutting classes, doing all kinds of crazy stuff in school. Um, so my dad, military, you're not going to stay in this household if you're not going to school or working. What did I say? Okay. I left the house and went to the streets. Um, at the age of 17, I'm in the streets. Uh, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, um, had an older brother. We started drinking beer, smoking marijuana. Um, Early on, I really wasn't into weapons, guns, and all that stuff, but this friend of mine had an older brother. We were sitting in his basement, um, drinking and smoking weed, and the older brother comes downstairs and he has this gun in his hand. Now, I've never really touched a gun up to that time or anything like that. And somehow, still don't know, but somehow there was a bunch of us. Somehow, someone cocked the gun. The brother, the older brother, came back downstairs, grabbed the gun, and just started pointing, and then shot his brother my buddy, my friend named Mankey. Shot him. First time, traumatic for me. First time I've ever seen, obviously seen anything like that. So it was very traumatic for me in terms of, that was my friend, that was his brother, and you know, from then on, I don't think I was the same. Something changed in me. And I didn't know at that time, that there was a change going on. But something changed in me. I became more rebellious. I became more criminal minded. I just went berserk. I just say, ended up going to prison quite a few times in Boston. Quite a few times for selling drugs, possession of weapons, a lot of little things back then. I was sentenced to 2.5 years in Deer Island House of Correction in Massachusetts. You guys might laugh, but so in 1985, I stole Larry Bird's Corvette. Big story in Boston. If you look it up, you'll see it. I stole Larry Bird's Corvette, had a big car chase on the highway, eventually got caught and sentenced to 2.5 years in Deer Island House of Correction. Big story. I thought I was the man now. It's a big story. I do my time, I get out. Again, something's changed in me. I'm not the same. My thinking has changed. My attitude towards things have changed. I get a bright idea. I said, you know what? I'm going to leave Boston and I'm going to New York. Big city of dreams. Change some things. So I actually moved to Buffalo, New York. I moved to Buffalo, New York and decided, you know what? Let me just sell some drugs. And I did that for a while. Again, still playing with guns, still different criminal mindset and all of that. And in September 19th, 1993, I got caught with a lot of drugs and was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. At that point, I knew something needs to be done in terms of me changing something. The crazy thing about this, so remember in the beginning I said I no longer look like it, act like it, or think like it. While I was in prison for these 15 years, I kept getting thoughts or something kept saying, Mike, what are you going to do differently when you get out of prison? So for a long time, 8 years, I just kept hearing that, and still couldn't come up with an answer. While in prison, I got involved in all the prison stuff: gambling, wine making, drug selling. Still hearing, what are you going to do when you get out of prison? Still didn't come up with an answer. I ended up getting into a serious altercation in prison. Obviously, I hurt someone, and I was put in a box in Southport Correctional Facility for 18 months. That's 24-hour lockdown. That's when something, again, clicked. Like, bro, what are you doing? Now, for those that may know, I was sentenced under that Rockefeller drug law. So life on the back doesn't mean you're in jail for the rest of your life. It's just part of what the law read. The minimum is something, the maximum is life. But I hurt someone in prison, so that kind of gave that life piece a little more power. And that, again, began to set in my mind like, bro, you might not ever get out of jail again, man. You might not ever get out. But I had some people, after doing the 18 months, while I'm in there, obviously, I was hearing this, you need to do something differently. You have to change some of your thinking. You have to basically get out of this mindset you're in, this criminal, crazy mindset you're in. Eventually, I was released out of the box, and I was sent to a prison where I met this gentleman. I'm never going to forget him. His name is Tubar. He had been in prison already 38 years. And he used to watch me. And I was like, one day, he said to me, Mike, when are you going to do your time and stop letting the time do you? Like, I'm doing my time, Tubar. What are you talking about? Because again, after doing that 18 months in the box, I got right back into the prison politics stuff, the drug selling, the gambling, all of that stuff. And he kind of, said, Mike, when are you going to start doing your time and stop letting the time do you? I couldn't figure it out. I kept telling him, I'm doing my time. I have no choice. I'm doing my time. He said, no, you're not. You're letting the time do you. He's like, you got a chance to go home. I don't have a chance. That's what he told me. So eventually, it set in. What does doing my time mean? I'm doing my time. And I kind of sat in myself for many a nights and many a days and pondered, what does doing my time really mean? It means thinking. Actually, I wrote it down. It really means, to me, it meant recognizing, realizing, and then redirecting. So I had to recognize what is going on with Mike, that he continues to have these thoughts, these things going on in his mind. What is going on? I begin to realize that all of my issues I've never dealt with. I've never dealt with, up until then, trauma. I never dealt with abandonment. I never dealt with, feeling less than. I never dealt with any of that. I failed to mention that during these times outside of prison, I was addicted to crack cocaine. I came up in that crack cocaine era, so I was a part of that crack cocaine era. But the realizing piece that really stuck with me was realizing that if I continue to use these drugs and alcohol, that nothing is changing. So we hear all these, for those of us that are in the field, we hear all these cliches, if nothing changes, nothing changes. that is such a profound, lasting, understanding quote there if you really process it. So I processed that. If nothing changes, nothing changes. In 2007, I was released from prison after doing 15 years and didn't know what I was going to do. But I knew that if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? So I decided that, you know what? Maybe I need treatment. Maybe I need some help. But I didn't know where to go for the help. Quick pieces, because I didn't know where to go for help, my help ended up being crack cocaine again. I got violated by parole. It was sent back to prison for 90 days. This 90 days killed me more than the 15 years did. And I say that because when I left, this is kind of funny. When I left prison, it was like, Mike, good luck, stay out of prison, whatever. When I came back, it was like, yo, OT, what you here for? OT? Oh no, I can't do this no more. Something has to change. So I get out and I ask my parole officer, send me to treatment somewhere. Send me to treatment. I need to work on some things. My parole officer sent me to Phoenix House. I stayed in Phoenix House for 3.5 years, unheard of. Why? Because I needed to get a lot of this stuff out and needed the help to be productive. While in Phoenix House, I began to study addiction. I began to understand part of why I did or was doing some of the things I was doing. I began to process a lot of stuff, right? I went to school, ended up getting a KSAT. I'm currently an advanced KSAT and an SAP. And currently I am, again, as I said earlier, I no longer look like it, I no longer act like it, and I no longer think like it. What am I talking about? Mindset. I am an addict, but I'm no longer look like it, think like it, or act like it. I'm always going to be that addict. Recovering, consistently recovering. Because there are days where that's a part of it, unfortunately. But because I have done a lot of recognizing, realizing, and redirecting, that is not my go-to. No more. No more. I'm currently program director of a program in Queens, New York, in Rego Park, called Rego Park Counseling, LLC. I worked 12 years. I worked in Harlem for August Community. 12 years I worked in Harlem, August Community, as a substance abuse counselor, clinical supervisor, and now I'm a program director. I've been in the field now going on 14 years now. And I say this, I tell each and every one of my staff as well as patients, I tell them, I'm not here for the money. It pays my bills, absolutely. But I'm here to help persons struggling with mental health, substance abuse, family issues. I'm here to help, guide, and support you through that, right? It's not about money for me. It does help, it does pay my bills. But I strictly talk to Black and brown people in hopes that they don't have to do or go down the path that I have or many others have. I work off of a sense of community. And I really, really, really want to thank Paulina and the panel because community, for me, is important, very important. I like to, when it comes to community, right? If we can't, or if I can't get the community involved in a person's journey to recovery, it sometimes makes it difficult, especially for us clinicians, that community is a sense of like-mindedness, right? And my philosophy is, if we, or if I can't gain a sense of community from the substance user, then what is the purpose? Hear me out for a minute. What is the purpose? I like to get community or families involved in a person's treatment because it helps. It not only helps the substance user, but it also helps the family dealing with a substance user. The program I'm involved in, we are an integrated model. We provide substance abuse treatment as well as mental health services. We provide MAT, medication-assisted treatment, for those persons who need medication-assisted treatment. We also provide group therapy, not just for the substance user, but we also provide a lot of treatment and therapy for significant others. So, person who may not be using a substance, but their husband or wife is using a substance. We provide treatment for them as well. We also cater to the LGBTQ community. What we found, what I have found is it's the younger, a lot of the younger generation needs that treatment. Social media and all this other mess, it kind of influences that. We also provide anger management, interpersonal relationships, both victim and perpetrator, parenting classes, relapse prevention classes. So we have a psychiatrist on staff, both prescribing psychiatrists and a medical director, and we provide telehealth services. So I say all that to say, as a community, it is important that we have centers like this and others to get that community back into our communities. Specifically, again, my Black and brown people, we need that back in our communities.
Great. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
we're gonna take
Paul was,
we're gonna take a couple quick questions, Michael, while we
Paul
have you.
wants to ask. And Paul,
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing,
Thank you.
and congratulations on your recovery.
Thank you.
I just wanted to know, when you got the big idea to come to New York, what were your idea? Well, what was the idea?
Well, think
Yes.
about it. Big city of dreams.
Okay, what was that dream?
So the dream was to be this big time hustler,
Oh.
drug selling,
Okay.
money man.
Okay. So technically, you accomplished that dream, but it came with a few other nightmares.
Well, I wouldn't say it came, but yeah, I was almost there.
Okay.
Let's just say.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you didn't make it all the way. Okay.
Me too. Thank
Okay.
God. Thank God.
But congrats overall, and I'm really proud of where you are now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, my turn?
yes.
Okay. Well, like my host said, thank you so much for sharing your story. We truly appreciate you coming here today and giving us that insight because, like you, I am also a clinician, and there are many people who would benefit from hearing your story. You know, it's being able to share that and give that back. You know, I wish there were more younger people here today to hear that so that they can get a clear understanding that, you know, that lifestyle is only going to lead to two things.
Yep.
And fortunately enough for you, there was a third thing,
Yes.
which is for you to be here with us today to
right.
be able to share
That's
that.
right. Amen.
So yes. Yes, we appreciate how far you have come, and we look forward for you to continue, and also one day come to the podcast and say that you may even own your own program at that point.
That's the goal. That is the goal.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for coming and speaking.
Just give us your contact information. How can we get a hold of you?
So I do have my business cards here with me. So I'll leave them here if you can contact me. Especially if you have anybody who is struggling and is within the area, please utilize me. And
For
I
the
will make
audience
sure.
members, yeah.
Okay.
For the audience.
Yes,
So
yeah.
the phone number is 718-459-2558, and that is my direct line. Michael Larkins. Yeah. Or my cell phone number, 917-420-7531.
And what is your name of your agency again?
Name of the agency is called Rego Park Counseling, LLC.
And where they're located exactly?
6336 99th Street in Rego Park.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.